starting your journey to financial freedom. Now. You're listening to the New Investor Podcast.
Okay, so first and foremost, I would like you to stay probably with me throughout the episode, as I have a few important points I would like to push through. And at the same time, I would like to thank all of you who left such positive reviews on Apple Podcasts recently. It is always humbling to receive feedback, and I highly appreciate it. On another note, I must tell you that I never thought it would be so challenging to convert Instagram followers into podcast listeners. Both are two very different worlds. An episode download of your podcast does not require the same amount of commitment than pushing the like or follow button. A podcast is a media you are capable of living with for a few years. However, it is as easy to lose a subscriber or a follower of your podcast if you're not obsessed about giving value to others. I think the one question you must ask yourself on this note whenever you decide to launch your own podcast, and you must, is how much value can I bring to my listeners on each and every episode for that matter, as a podcast is certainly and cannot be only about you, or if it is, you will need to ensure that your story allows others to build their own in their own way. For that, you will need to build a show that will serve as a vector that could in return serve others to make progress in their own enterprise, whatever it may be. Now, strangely enough, I am not a podcast listener myself, as I am a podcaster and I would hate to sound like any other ones. And the idea of going insular on such a project to ensure you remain unbiased and not looking like any other is, I believe, crucial. So it goes without saying that knowing everything there is to know about your competition and establishing a benchmark in order to differentiate yourself and capture market share is the way to go when you're developing any product or service. However, in the realm of podcasting, best it's to be yourself and just share your passions with others, as simple as that. And above all, you become another more powerful form of media to couple with your already established social angle with Instagram, Facebook, and others. Now, I am not off subject at all. The reason I bring podcasting into the discussion is that I have also noted a surge in requests from potential guests on the podcast, and I'm fortunate enough to have been able to line up a few whom I believe will bring great value to you and very soon. Now, it is evident that the current crisis is redefining new norms in the way we will develop our economies, conduct business, entertain ourselves, self-educate, and communicate with each other. Now more than ever, our world is starting to accelerate that shift towards a more fundamental understanding of the virtues of digital, artificial intelligence, and robotic worlds to keep functioning and avoid closing down economies ever again. Now, this leads me to another questioning that never made so much sense than today. Which companies will therefore become the leaders of that accelerated shift? The other question, just like in any police investigation, who will stand to benefit from such a crisis in the long term then? Now, we already know who these tech giants are, and by the time this episode is out, they would have announced their quarterly earnings, which may have suffered a slight slowdown, but overall a small bump. But 2020 is the start of their total domination from now and for the next decades. These tech titans are already well into their research and development into AI and robotics and their application into the consumer products they are pushing to market every year and into our homes even. It's already happening. COVID-19 is the mother of all crises, the one that will justify their purpose and which will enable such a shift in every aspect of our lives to occur. Now, to bring this all back into your next moves as an investor, I would seriously consider looking at these tech sectors and major players in much more depth as of today. If I had to add one more detail into the mix, do not underestimate the power of the fifth generation technology standard of cellular networks, 5G, which is being deployed worldwide as we speak, and which will enable to carry such an ambitious agenda forward. What would you do as a factory owner today? Keep your people or upgrade to ensure you never shut down ever again? In the meantime, be well and stay invested.